The world is so fake. Everything's superficial nowadays. Why isn't it possible to find real, genuine people now? If you clicked on this video, it's likely that these are the types of thoughts that run through your mind on a frequent basis. You probably already know that quote by now that says, "You are the 5 people you hang out with the most." I even cited it in my video about removing toxic people from my life, and I still agree with that statement. So if that's the case, then why would you try and become friends with anyone? Because the majority of humanity is depressing and not of high value. The problem is, a lot of what I said in that video was based on the biases that I built up over the past year or so. And this bias and mindset is what you're probably allowing yourself to accept as fact if you're having trouble making any sort of real, solid friends. If you've watched my other videos on socializing with people and being more charismatic, but you just feel like you still can't find that right, high-quality friend group, then you're the one that's creating the problem. Are there genuinely bad people out there that just want to use you and won't reciprocate your kindness? Of course, but those people that I was questioning whether they were my friends or not throughout my life did not fit that criteria, and I thought they did because of the mindset that I had built up. And this is probably the case for you too. So let's break down the first part of this toxic mindset, being totally untrustworthy and seeing most people as negative. The truth is, if you're untrustworthy of most people, it's not because those people are actually untrustworthy. Okay, I mean, sometimes they actually will be, but because you're functioning on an inaccurate perception of reality. To explain this further, let me give you a scenario. Let's say we have 2 people. The first was raised in a rough environment. Their father left them when they were young, they never had a solid group of friends to call their own, and were never encouraged to keep going after they failed at something. Because of this, they believe the world is out to get them, and most people are fake and only want to see them if they want something from them. The second person was raised in a much more healthy manner. They had both parents growing up who nurtured and loved them, and they found it easy to make friends because of it. And each of their friendships felt both fulfilling and enriching to them. So let's put these 2 people in the same scenario. Let's say they have a friend or someone they want to be friends with whom they made plans to hang out with later that day, but the person cancels last minute because they have a family issue to take care of. The first person would automatically assume the person must dislike them, and that it's because they did something wrong. And because they believe this would only continue to fuel their mindset that most people are untrustworthy, and they'd probably give up on trying to see that person again. The second person would probably think to themselves, well, this person is probably just busy. It's alright that they had something come up last minute. I'm sure I'll see them again soon if I try. 2 completely different interpretations of the exact same situation. And if you struggle with trust issues and feeling like no one likes you, then your upbringings and beliefs are probably closer to person number 1. Many of us are functioning in a reality that does not at all reflect how things actually are. And to fix this, you really need to dive deep into yourself and ask yourself, why is it that I hold this belief in my head to be absolute fact? When I did this myself, I realized that many of my preconceived notions about others actually came from the stuff that I went through earlier on in my life, like that time I was in Vegas and reflecting on the fact that people were untrustworthy and they would never actually stick by my side. And yet none of that was actually true about the situation I was in right now or even back then. And I realized, yeah, if I want to go out and make friends, I gotta be the one to initiate the conversation and put in the effort to make plans with them, because most people actually are just busy. It's not like that person doesn't like you or care about you, it's just that you gotta be willing to put in more effort. Obviously, you don't want a completely one-sided relationship, but it just feels like so many people think they're the only ones putting an effort into a relationship, when the reality is that people naturally grow apart from each other at one point or another in their lives, and that's just the way that life is. And maintaining friendships is supposed to be a constant effort between both parties. Like, usually friends aren't just gonna magically fall into your lap after you meet them once and they're gonna be the ones hitting you up saying, hey, let's hang out, hey, let's hang out. Like, that's just not how it works. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's just the way that people are and the way that life is. Now, before we get into the next and probably most important part of this toxic mindset that you have, I first want to talk about something that used to completely drain the personality, charisma, and effort out of me, which was a lack of sleep. You guys have probably experienced this, but when I used to get poor quality sleep, I used to feel like this lifeless zombie that couldn't be bothered to put in effort to reciprocate love to others. And something that has helped me tremendously with improving my sleep is Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. Magnesium is a mineral that many people are neglecting and are in fact deficient in because it's kind of difficult to get it in our diets. And it is one of the most important minerals for regulating your stress levels, your testosterone, and for getting better sleep. And the reason I take Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers is because it blends all of these 7 essential forms of magnesium into one effective supplement. I've been taking Magnesium Breakthrough for several months now, and I can confidently say that it has definitely improved my quality of sleep. I take a couple before bed, and it has definitely reduced the amount of time it takes me to fall asleep, as well as improved the quality of my sleep. And it's super dope to see all of the comments on my videos about this product of how taking a magnesium supplement has helped you guys with sleep and your testosterone levels. So if you are interested in the supplement and you want to reduce your stress levels, regulate your testosterone levels, and get better quality sleep, then you can click the link in the description or the pinned comment. It is magnesiumbreakthrough.com/Cole. And when you use that link, you will get a 10% discount on your order. Thank you to Bioptimizers for sponsoring this video. The next part of this mindset is what I briefly covered in the first part of this video, and that is the completely unrealistic expectations and assumptions that you have about life and people. So let's create another hypothetical person, which might not actually be hypothetical. Let's say this person has been consuming a lot of self-improvement or similarly related content talking about how fake and superficial people are these days. These videos say that phones have created a mass psychosis of sheep that are boring with no personalities. And so this person starts believing it's the people and the way the world is set up that are the reasons as to why they can't find real friends. But if you think everything in the world sucks and people suck and life sucks, is the problem everything and everyone in the world? Or is it you? Let's start off with this assumption that people are faker now. How would you know if this is true? Have you ever stopped to question whether this is true or not? Or do you just consume what you see online and have a few bad experiences in real life and then you think, yep, everybody's fake? Obviously, I didn't live 100 years ago, but when I look back in the 1920s to 1950s era, it looks like everyone was forced to live a certain lifestyle. School was actually necessary to get a job, along with marriage and not wearing too promiscuous clothing and only conforming to society's ways of thinking. Today, we have so much more freedom to be who we want to be and do what we want to do. You can get a tattoo and still get hired almost anywhere. We no longer have to act all upright and orderly and have much more of an opportunity to express ourselves in many different ways. Look, it doesn't matter whether you think this is a good or bad thing. The point I'm trying to make is you need to start questioning the validity of these assumptions and beliefs you have about the world and other people by doing what most people fail to do: going outside. I think Sneeko said it best in his video, How People View You Too, when he said,
when you speak to someone face to face, suddenly all the disease and death and murder, all that you forget about when you're in the real world talking to real people.
A lot of people want to believe that the world is an awful place and people are out to get them because it makes it so much easier to cope with and avoid the fact that it's their own upbringings and beliefs that have been shaped over time that is the real reason that they can't find or make any friends. People truly do not want to think critically about what people tell them online in this internet era. So much so to the point that it's coined the term Brandolini's Law, which states that the amount of effort required to refute a bullshit claim is far greater than the amount of effort required to produce a bullshit claim. And based on my experience and what I've seen online, that's definitely a fact. We all secretly want to believe and be spoon-fed false ideas like humanity is doomed and people suck now because it gives us the excuse to not do the difficult inner work required to start challenging and destroying our false beliefs that will then open us up to start developing healthy relationships. And it sounds super negative and mean when I put it that way, but it's actually quite positive and hopeful. When I go out into the real world and experience real people, I'm always astonished by how much more empathetic and friendly most people actually are versus how most people act online. I think this woman said it best in my last video.
And don't be afraid to say hi to people. Most everybody wants more friends and is afraid to talk to people too. So if you're the one who makes that effort, most of the time they'll just be glad that somebody talked to them.
There is definitely no shortage of great high quality people that you can vibe with in the world. It's just that you have inner work to do and you have these completely unrealistic expectations as to what these people need to be like and how they need to act and where they need to be in their lives in order for you to be friends with them. There's this whole idea in the self-improvement self-improvement space that you always need to be around successful people who have the same or higher goals as you, and you need to remove everyone else. And if you can't find those people, then you have to be a lone wolf. But think where you're at in your life right now. How likely is it that you're gonna find the people that match all that criteria that you have in your head? I think people are just far too judgmental, especially in this space, once they hear these things of what people decide to do with their lives and how they act. Of course, I'm not telling you to hang out with totally unambitious, life-sucking, negative people, but goddamn, you don't have to hang out with like this perfect entrepreneur hustle type archetype that meets all these list of criteria that you have in your head if you've never even had a solid friend group in the first place and you don't have the social skills or charisma yet. Instead of having these outrageous expectations of how people should be in order for you to be friends with them, just hang out with cool, positive people that make you feel happy and put in the effort required to maintain that relationship. People will come and go, and the real ones will stay, and by the end of all that, you'll have the social skills and charisma necessary to attract those higher up type of people that you want to attract into your life. But right now, just practice the art of making relationships with others by destroying those inner negative false beliefs and those assumptions that have been created by all the things you've been consuming over the years, and let your guard down a little, or else you'll never get to that point. Thank you very much to all my patrons on Patreon. If you don't know what this is, it's a platform separate from YouTube where I'm putting out exclusive content you can't find anywhere else, and you can talk to me one-on-one over the phone on there, link in the description. If you're still having trouble with the whole social skills and charisma part of making relationships, then check out my entire playlist on building relationships with others. That will help you a ton. It's right here. And thank you so much for watching. Peace, guys. Love ya.